kid with a French last name, Monceau or something like that.
Misfit, what we eating tonight?
Star Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Misfit, what we eating tonight?
Star Pizza.
Hey all, this is Ryan Monceau, and this is Cats, the Cougar After Thoughts Show, presented by Star Pizza. Let's talk about Star Pizza. Bradley, tell us about your Star Pizza adventures lately.
Oh man, it was really good. We went up. What was it? What day was it?
Friday.
I'm still in like a Star Pizza meat sweat scenario.
Boy, if you'd have been in this arena tonight, it would be way worse than meat sweats.
Yeah,
It is so warm in here.
I bet so.
I'm finished with this. I am not coming back here again.
Good to have a GoCoogs staff meet up and eat some delicious Star Pizza. And even better, I had my
Oh, my bad. All right, John. What up?
Okay, Galen just ejected
My
himself.
bad. I
I don't know what just happened.
was on a little FaceTime with the game.
What's going on, dude? I was
Dickinson.
just vamping on Star Pizza, dude.
Star Pizza.
Star Pizza. Ryan Monceau. Rock Chalk.
Galen
Fuck y'all.
Robinson. Are we still on that? Those poor people.
Absolutely. That shit ain't never changing, brother. That's
When
forever.
when we dominate the series, I mean, what else you gonna do?
Yeah.
It is
They're the
3-1,
new
isn't it?
They're our new Cincinnati.
Easy. I might want to
said,
maybe not go there.
Hold on. So I just want to ask y'all a question because this was kind of permeating in my brain.
Uh-oh.
So you know how I said, I think I forget which show it was, but I was like, an ass whooping for us can definitely change your season. So I was just curious if y'all, from like a psychology standpoint, thinks that if Kansas would have beat us at Allen, would that be the Kansas team that has had their current struggles?
I do not know, but they are 5-6, I believe, since that game, which is not good. If you were wondering,
I think we crushed their soul in that one.
you
Kind
broke
of
them.
damaged some swagger, I think.
Because I mean, but it goes back to what makes this team and this program so good is that you can't kill us.
Yeah. Like roaches.
We
Not
don't
dead.
go away. What's that?
Huh?
What's
That
that?
was Galen.
Oh, and I'm raising down the curtain. So, yeah, my bad, brother. Yeah.
It's
But
almost
yeah,
metaphorical.
we just don't go away, and teams hit us with everything that they got, and it's I feel bad for their point guard, not the little bitty fellow that went off tonight, but the
Juwan Harris.
yeah, DeJuan Harris. Boy, he shit himself at Fog Allen, and then he just did it again tonight, falling down for that turnover.
Oof. That's a rough way. That's rough, but very much necessary for U of H in that moment.
I mean, I'm just happy. I'm happy
Brad's
that we
happy.
own Kansas. Because their fans were the ones talking the most shit
The most.
about us, our lowly ascendants to play the gods.
Towns, I think I'm a fan of your jacket. I can't see exactly what it says, but yeah, man, that's some elite shit. If I do say so myself.
Go ahead. Are you still selling stuff right now? What's happening?
No, the dry fit shirts, they're gonna ship to me either tomorrow or the next day, and then maybe after or during the conference tournament, or maybe after for March Madness, might do like another little drop, but that's probably gonna be it. So,
No
more hoodies.
more hoodies. Okay. Yeah, that's sad for everyone. Let's look at some comments, Brad. Can you do that for us? I'm just loading some video here.
Yes. Love them ugly ass grinding wins. You are 100% correct. I mean, that's what Kelvin pointed it out when he was talking to SVP after the game. Said that we haven't really had a win like that this year. He said we hadn't really had a game like that this year. We started to try and win pretty. We scored in the 80s a bunch of times, but you got to win ugly in the NCAA tournament. You're going to have a game where the ball doesn't go in, nothing works, and you're in foul trouble. He talked about Milos being in foul trouble early, and then
that's something else.
And then LJ being in foul trouble in the second half. And he said basically it just came down to us having a lot more possessions, getting a ton of steals, and just dominating the offensive glass. Because, when he said that, I was like, oh, we didn't play so well against a couple of teams out there. But I looked at our 359 shooting percentage was the worst of this year. We shot 369, 36%, 36.9% against Bama and the 80-85 OT loss. And we shot 37.1 against San Diego State in the 3-point OT loss. But we really haven't had one of those where just absolutely nothing would fall.
Yeah. I think today it's indicative of how unpredictable basketball becomes in March. You kind of have to adjust to not having lows early, and and credit to him for taking control of our offense, because it looked like he wasn't out there, if that makes sense. Like it just it looked lossless. But I mean, but that's just, you just never know what's gonna happen, so you got to find ways to win. And I think that LJ, whenever Maul got hurt last year and LJ became the primary, it was a bit shaky. And I think that although it wasn't as smooth, he looked a lot more comfortable with the ball in his hands and being the primary decision maker, in my opinion. So, but it's whenever March happens, man, whenever March is here, you just never know how you're going to have to win. And you just got to create ways to doing so.
Well, and tonight was a U of H win. And tonight is the reason why U of H does nothing but hang banners, fill the trophy case, and collect rings, because these games, not many people win. I mean, you look across our conference and look how many games that have been lost. Well, Kansas, of course, but they're dog shit. But Texas Tech, Iowa State,
that's the
Arizona,
number one team in the country, buddy.
But everybody that's back there choking on our dust, they've had bad games and they lose them. They lose them at home. I mean, Iowa State got dog walked at their place. But that's
U of H just tweeted that this is. Go ahead. Go ahead. U of H just tweeted that that's your most ever conference wins, true, and the most conference wins in Big 12 history, tied, I believe, with Baylor.
Well, yeah,
maybe
they've
Kansas,
never played
but
20.
you'll get the chance to set the record next week.
They've never played 20, though. Have they?
or excuse me, Saturday. Right, but hey, the one time they do it, right, and they're going back to 18.
Well, that's a beautiful thing about it is that we win one more game, and it's probably going to be an unbreakable record since we probably won't ever play 20 again.
Yeah.
Accurate.
And you just want to win it better
Accurate.
anyhow.
Accurate.
Mylik provided a nice spark again tonight. Needed it, especially Crier with 4 fouls. And I was really happy for Mylik because, just thinking about what he's gone through in the last couple of years,
man,
of how far he's come and what he's turned into.
Man, yeah, it's tons of respect for that kid. He's that kid is definitely mentally tough, and it's just it is kind of a safety blanket to be able to have a kid like that comes off the bench, and that, like, I know for sure above all else I'm going to get energy from Mylik, and everything else that I get is a bonus, and this is whenever he got a swagger going, he got his motion going. He's that's when he's at his best. And it's just like, I like when Mylik is aggressive because it looks better. And it's just, I feel like tonight was, I feel like this was probably the most emotion that we've seen him show.
Yeah.
Like, he was very into it. It's like you hit a game winner at Kansas and it was just, or at least a big bucket, and you would just stoic, like just nothing. It's like, I like that, man. But that kid has overcome a lot, and I'm proud. I'm glad that he's grown and he is invaluable to our program.
I mean, you look at his stat line tonight. I mean, it's beautiful to look at. 10 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 steals, 0 turnovers. And he spent a lot of time on the floor.
A lot of time on the floor. Yeah. Before we go on with that, I want to play y'all something. After the game, they had a little senior ceremony, not a net cutting, but just letting the seniors talk. And Mylik talked first, and he was great, but the video didn't really pick up. And Ramon spoke, and LJ and JVR. And Juwan was last, and he got a cheer that eventually is going to stop happening, right? So a couple of things. Number one, that was the spirit of Houston that was cheering. They all turned their heads to listen to. And number two, Emmanuel Sharp is one of the worst dancers I've ever seen in my entire life.
He was jigging. You tripping, Ryan?
Is that what that was?
You ain't got
I
no.
know.
I thought it was a bonzo dance.
Man, you tripping.
One more time. Dance.
Elaine Bennis, everybody.
You can't dance. That's terrible. That's horrible.
It probably works on TikTok.
You should be ashamed.
That's probably where that comes. That's probably where that goes.
Yeah, he hadn't done TikTok in a while, I don't think. But that one was my favorite part of the post game. The pregame, Juwan and so Kelvin kept it together for the other 4 seniors, and Juwan was last, as he should be, and he lost it. And I posted a video, and it's kind of gone, I guess viral is the word. It's got about 800,000 views all over Twitter. And I think Kelvin lost it worse last year with Jamal. He was a mess. But it was pretty close with Juwan this year, and I thought that was a really cool moment.
Crying competition.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make it that, but you know, he had some things. Late in the game, Kingston Flemings walked up the stairs towards me. Kingston plays tomorrow night at TSU versus Shelton Henderson in Bel Air in the UIL tournament. And Kingston stopped when he saw Keyshawn Henderson, and this was my best attempt to get a photo of Keyshawn, 5-star, Kingston, 5-star, different sports. After that photo, Willie started recruiting Kingston. I don't know what that was about, but he was trying to get him some Kingston, it seemed like. All right, go back to whatever y'all were talking about. Oh, and also, the kid from Second Baptist, Reese Austin. He's a 4-star.
Is that Ray Frost's son?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Lil Skip.
Lil Skip, that's actually his Twitter name is Lil Skip. They won a state title Saturday in TAPS, and he was here to recruit. He's at Second Baptist. He'll be a 2027 guy, but that's something to watch. And also, GoCoogs.com, your recruiting headquarters. We dominate recruiting at U of H, as you all know, because I care so much about recruiting.
All the emails and DMs and at Monsos you're about to get, people are begging for information on recruiting. I can't. You better choke on that.
So he's
We
about
are your recruiting headquarters.
He's about 6'2".
6'1", I think. Yeah.
Wow.
But he's got a long way to go. He's a sophomore.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean he's right around the Mercy area.
Yeah, but with a couple years to grow.
I'll tell you what, if you want on the bandwagon, you better commit quick. As soon as that offer comes out, you better say yes.
I do.
No kidding. Juwan's senior moment kind of hit me a little harder than I thought it was going to hit me. I don't really get choked up over these things, but, you know, got a little history.
Juwan's been real good to us. He's
very good to us.
You two have done a lot of work together.
We have. Mainly him doing the work and me just talking shit.
I thought Kelvin, when he's talking to FVP, came up with a perfect phrase for Juan. He said he's just got a beautiful naivete about him. I was like, that's it. That's him, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like also just being able to be a part of someone's journey who came in as a boy and then is leaving as like a respectable young man. You know, man, that is truly admirable. And it's like, you know, we have a team full of good guys, but you know, Juan is definitely special, man. He's a special.
I think Fran brought up during the game that Kelvin's been here 11 years. Juwan's been here 6.
If U of H runs the table from here on out, wins the title, he's going to be here for exactly half of Kelvin's wins. Right? That's wild that's a possibility after 11 years.
Juan has been in college as long as I've been a professional. That's crazy. Damn, that's a lot of dubs.
My hair was the color of Brad's sweatshirt when he came to college, and now not as much. Hunter Dickinson is over here in the stands, just talking to parents, I guess. And Ramon just walked across the floor. He was over there talking with Kansas people. And he walked across the floor, and he had 3 really pretty ladies in tow with him. He had his frame jersey and had 3 ladies. And you know, if you're gonna swing big. So good for him. You
I
don't have,
can't say nothing, man. I can't say nothing.
Well,
Well, you never
here we
had
go.
three girls.
Let's go to this. It's a Star Pizza meat sweat scenario up in here, Brad Towns. Yes,
accurate.
that's good.
There's Ramon. I'm just saying, he had some ladies with him, and he's wearing those slides, which are ugly as shit, but the kids love them.
sleep.
Are you a slide wearer, Galen?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Of course he is.
Usually athletes are.
I like regular flip flops.
Just
I
lazy.
wouldn't call myself
Well, modern athletes.
that. I'm still old school, dude.
This century.
Let's see here. Now I got to go back to the board. Let's see. At the end of the day, culture stood strong all night, and we held strong. Absolutely. We make this program, these players, they make winning look so easy.
Yeah. That you almost take it for granted.
I mean, those games like tonight are games you're supposed to lose. You play like that, or you shoot like that, you're supposed to lose. But, like you have said so many times over the, 2-3 years we've been doing this, is that they found a way to affect winning. And I texted Monsto during the game. I said, I've never seen so many offensive rebounds lead to so little production. But we needed every one of those rebounds to get the few points that we actually had.
And also, even if you don't have success, it's just it's just demoralizing. It's like, damn, they got enough. Because the whole scouting report is they're a great offensive rebounding team. So when they get one, they're doing something that we don't want them to do. So that impacts you on the psychology, mentally. So, but yeah, it's our kids are tough, man. And I do think it's kind of like when Steph Curry's shooting. It looks so easy. He's like, well, shit, I can go do that. It's like when you make something look so effortless, it's just like it almost looks like it should be done better because it's being made look so easy.
Yes, accurate.
And also, I think that kind of shows how our team has grown. Early on in the year, shooting that percentage from the field, we lost those games. But being able to win that during this time of the year in March, that's very telling.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of teams get rattled when things aren't going their way.
Yeah.
Then you start pressing more, and you try to double down more, and this team just finds a way to stay calm. You did see them pressing a little bit in the first half.
Yeah,
I thought Juwan was playing a little fast tonight, but that doesn't surprise me. He's a guy that kind of gets caught up in it every now and then.
Well, this is the day you're going to get caught up in it.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you go through your senior day for the 9th time, it really starts to hit you.
I don't know. All I know is on my senior day,
Yeah, you only had one.
I hit McDonald's, like with the ball. Had a home run and a double against Baylor to my senior day. So,
wow,
got to rise up.
these are some good
that's
comments.
amazing. Yeah.
Let's see here. Tough wins. Kansas played like old Kansas, causing 19 turnovers and getting more rebounds and shots out for poor shooting. They actually didn't quit, which was surprising.
Yeah, but it's kind of like when you're playing Houston. You're going to go into that arena, into that game with a positive fear, and it's kind of similar to how the same Kansas team lost at Colorado, and the Iowa State team that came in and kind of took us down to the wire. That team went and lost at what was it, Oklahoma State? So it's like when you're playing with us, you're playing with such a positive fear that we could get our asses beat. We better show the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what Kansas did today. It's whenever you're playing somebody up here, you kind of raise your level of play.
Well, they know exactly what could happen because they got.
It's happened 9 times this year.
They get beat by 30 last year in our building. So we taught them a lesson. They knew what they were coming into.
Brad hit McDonald's with a home run when they still had McPizza.
Ooh,
Star McPizza.
I never had that. Let's see.
It lasted about 3 weeks.
Fran was cooking Kansas on commentary during the first half. You know, one thing that he said that really kind of brought home where Kansas is that he said this team doesn't have any draft picks on it, and they only had one last year.
And that shit resonated with me too. I wanted to ask you,
how the hell does Kansas only have one dude drafted in 2 years?
Well, I mean, the year before, was it McCullough?
Well, the year before they won the national title, I think.
What's his name?
Was that 3 years ago?
Yeah, I think that might have been 3. I don't think, because they had Christian Braun. I'm thinking of when they had McCullough. He played in the NBA.
McCullough was there last year too.
Needless to say, but yeah, that was when he said that, I was like, damn, you onto something. Granted, do I think Badunga, do I think he can be an NBA player? I do think highly of his upside, yes. So I mean, but as of right now, I think that's yeah.
I think Badunga's getting drafted.
I'm sad to see Dickinson go.
I can't lie. I respect him.
There's respect. He does some things.
He does.
I know that he puts up a lot of stats, but he's just got this aura of suck around him that brings the entire team down. And
well, I don't think it's his fault. They've averaged 18 or so turnovers against Houston in 2 years. That ain't all him.
Honestly, I think against our monster.
I'm just talking about all over the entire season. He gets his numbers, but he's a net negative for Kansas.
Man, I just think that I can't go there.
Yeah,
he does some things.
Yeah, I think he causes our monsters the most problems because he's able to see over the double. He's poised and he's strong with the ball. He's able to make that cross-court pass and he's able to throw the lob. So it's like he has great vision. Obviously, he's been in college for a minute, so it's like nothing. He's seen everything, but it's like I feel like he's effective. Granted, you on the defensive end, you got to give a little bit because that's not he has mobility issues. But I feel like he definitely is probably a bright spot on their team.
He was close to a triple-double today. 17 points, 12 rebounds, 7 turnovers.
How'd that work out?
Yeah.
Triple-double. 17 and 12.
Only the third time in the Bill Self era for a team to sweep Kansas.
And this has been 22 years.
Yeah.
I don't want to fact check it, but it feels like one of those things.
What was it? Was it Baylor twice?
Baylor went undefeated 1 year, so they obviously did. And it has to be them again.
Because Baylor had a 2-year run that was pretty fantastic. I think they were undefeated 1 year and then 15-3 the next, or the year before.
16-2, yeah, somewhere in there. I want to read you a quote from Bill Self about Kelvin. What he's done in his time here is the best job anybody has done, in my opinion, in America in that period of time.
Agreed.
I think sometimes we lose sight of it. You went from just wanting to be competitive with the bullshit schedule, just win more than you lose, to you're number 3 in the fucking country. You're going to be a 1 seed again. And this will be the 3rd year you're a 1 seed in a row. That ain't bad.
Yeah, not bad.
I'm going to pull some comments here, Brad, real quick.
Yeah, you go with the comments.
Mylik did some great things just at the right time. If you think back to where Mylik was when he got here, he had lost his confidence and he had done something to his shooting. He was not really a Division I player when he got here. His athleticism and the things that he can do made him valuable. But
I'm not saying this.
You couldn't put him on the floor.
I'm not saying this to be mean, but it's just reality. For a while, he was competing with with Ryan Elvin for shots in blowouts.
No, he wasn't, because he would play point and never pass the ball to Ryan. So there was no competing for shots.
That's where he was at one point, and he's turned himself into. You know,
I liked seeing him on the floor.
He got a lot of flack about his 3-point shot and the way it looked. And I still see his 3-point shot still looks a little funny, but goodness gracious,
it's snowflake.
It's just his form.
His jumper looks completely different, and it's so.
It's just
smooth.
his form.
Yeah, I mean, it's just his form.
But his jumper from 15 is just buttery smooth.
Yeah, it gets good elevation, and I think that, you know, with a guy like that, you know, because these kids, they see all the comments, they see all the opinions of people, and it's like being able to have to, you know, withstand that and still overcome that is tough. And it's like you said, not being a Division I player might be right. As far as what he thought he could do. Granted, it was in him, but, you know, that wasn't who he was at that time. But it's like, I think that's just a testament to his work, because I think
him and Quannis White and Anthony Goldwire deserve a ton of credit. Quannis had the biggest smile on his face during Mylik's senior moment. I just thought, you know, that was graduation for him too, you know.
Yeah. But I think that nobody deserves more credit than Mylik, because he was the
Speaking
one.
of, he's walking right by.
Crazy.
What's up? We're talking about you.
Big league.
Yeah. Galen's talking to you. He's saying you suck. He says you're the worst player that U of H has ever had. Thank you.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I said, though, nobody deserves more credit than him, because he was willing and able to put in the sweat equity. And I forget which game it was, but Coach Sampson said, I think he had missed the shots that he had took in the game prior to him having a great game. And he was like, nobody works on their game more than Mylik. And that is just knowing that you have a kid that, regardless, good, bad, or indifferent, he's going to work on his game. That gives you a lot of you feel safe with that as a coach, knowing that this kid is put in the work to make all the shots that he takes in the game.
And it, you know, it speaks a lot to him, and it speaks a lot to the coaching staff that, one, he never gave up on himself.
Yeah.
And the coaching staff never gave up on him, and they just kept grinding, knowing that eventually it's going to come. And that's a special relationship that speaks to how close this program, how close everybody is in this program, and the way that the coaches work with these players. Is that if you come here, you're with us, and we're with you, and we're not going to give up on you no matter what.
In this baseball program, you know this, Brad, coaches do quit on you. And it happens across the country.
Mm-hmm.
But it has, I mean, Mylik is the best example of that maybe I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to make you a fucking player. We're going to do it. And, you know, Kelvin really doesn't see the work. I'm sure he gets film and stuff, but the work that Mylik does after Kelvin leaves, he leaves at the end of practice, and then they do their shooting. And Mylik is in there as long or longer than anybody every single day. And that's kind of where I started to get an affinity for him. It wasn't paying off what you saw on the floor, but this year he has grown so much. And what he did, he broke Kansas, if we want to just be real about it. He's the guy. So I think they spent $6 million on NIL to get their 0 draft picks. And they were beaten by a kid from Richland Parish in Northeast Louisiana. Gotta love it.
Coach Sampson, he got this quote, though. He says, I've never seen anybody drown in their own sweat.
Accurate. Although it might happen to me today. It is hot. as hell in here.
Shit.
And I mean, the arena's empty and it hadn't cooled down at all. Don't understand why Sampson pulled Wilson at the end after. Well, I believe this was
Probably an
for
open.
applause. I mean, you let him come out. I think that's what happened, but maybe I'm off on that. Let me get this one real quick. Mylik was the X factor again, in my opinion.
That's his role. That is his role.
Yeah. Come and screw some stuff up, make a mess, and that's what he did.
Muck shit up.
There was a point in the first half where I thought he had like 20 steals, and he only had 3 at that point.
It was like his activity.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
yes, activity is the right way to say it.
Yeah.
He ended up with 4 steals. Jawan had 4 steals. Cryer had 3. You had 16 total.
Yeah.
Things aren't going to work out if you're getting the ball
Gabe,
stolen 16 times.
You use the word discretion quite a bit. Did you notice that that Dickinson used a lot of discretion in not trying to go and get the block on Mylik when he went in?
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's like, oh no,
when Mylik got the steal, I stood up and I was yelling at the team, "Dunk his ass! You better not jump."
And then Dickinson just slowed down. He's like,
not
no,
jump.
I'm not going to be on this dude's
That
poster.
brother is self-aware. He knows he had no chance.
Mhm.
There was going to be a da-na-na, da-na-na.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, man, he's because Dickinson don't jump that high. So Mylik does,
No.
and he would just elevate
Yes.
even further off his back.
Exactly.
Met Jawan's dad tonight, told him I cried during pregame ceremonies when he was announced. You get so connected to these guys that stay for multiple years, very rare in the portal NIL era.
Jaywan stole his dad's face.
We've been very fortunate.
You hear this. I mean, it's 365 about how no one has loyalty and nobody cares. And players were tearing up. Kelvin was a mess. It matters. Parents were tearing up. Like this, they entrust this staff with their, like Jawan was 18 when he got here. He's 40 something now. They entrust their children and you make them into men or old men as it is with him. It's really cool to see because you see every team in the, I mean, we've seen it with Jamie's, his previews and breaking down these rosters. It's like, oh, I remember him. Oh, wait, that was 2 teams ago. He was somewhere else and then somewhere else. And all these guys you're playing rosters of people that haven't been together. And this team has been together. And I think that's a big part of why you've had the success you've had. And why you need to enjoy it this year because you're going to have a totally different roster next year. And I don't know if it can keep looking like it's looked just because of how new your roster is going to be.
We no longer have the COVID exemption.
Right. And today proved to you with Ramon what we talked about last week, Texas Tech Monday.
Oh, they're going for the med shirt.
Yeah, they're going for the med shirt. He didn't play. And so this, if you didn't realize it or didn't hear it, then this pretty much tells you that it is what it is. Mylik is a stud. I feel good when he's on a court. That's a good way to put it. High energy, akin to the Benny Anders effect. Sorry it had to be said. Benny Anders was madness. And he changed the back end of this. My favorite Cougar team ever in 57 years. So that's pretty good. Yeah, some people are older than you. Okay, now after we have all the nice things, Galen, can you speak to the issues they're having when teams press us?
I mean, I can see why you may see it's an issue if it's an issue, but like I said, it's at the end of the game, teams are doing it out of desperation, and you're not necessarily trying to attack the press to score because you're trying to eat clock. So it, as a player, it kind of changes your mindset. And I remember whenever we used to play Cincinnati, and they used to do like a little press, and then it got to a point where they didn't press us anymore because we broke it every time because our mindset going into the game is we're going to attack it. So I feel like personally, I feel like our coaching staff may agree is if you're expecting a press, then you're going to prepare for it. But if a team is doing it out of desperation and you're trying to eat clock, you're trying to just take as much. You're not going to attack it with as fast as you can or with as much aggression, if that makes sense.
That's fair. It does feel like they are not aggressive with it. They're not attacking it.
Yeah, but it's like they started pressing us with less than a minute left, and when you have the lead, time is on your side. We got timeouts. I think the possession arrow was our way, so it's just like there's a lot of context that goes into not being as aggressive against a press.
Yeah.
So.
And we got to see my favorite thing in basketball today. My absolute favorite thing. When a team fouls you for an entire half, it never gets called, and they get down to the last minute and they need to foul, and you look up and they got 4. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
We're gonna just foul 3 times and hope. Johnny Furphy, I hated that kid. Stupid mullet wearing little boots. Dickinson is ranked 3rd in Kim Pom Player of the Year. So Kim Pom has its flaws. Shout out Hollis Price. Only 2 boxes of Frenchies. Kim Pom has its flaws because while Dickinson has good stats, it doesn't really tell you who is making the most impact on winning.
Well, I mean,
they're sitting at 10-9 in the conference. They shouldn't have anybody there.
When I look at Dickinson's numbers tonight, 17 points, good. 6 of 13, good. 12 rebounds, good. 7 fucking turnovers.
Yeah.
I mean, that kills you. All the good you did, you just gave it all away.
Well, shit.
Especially when you're trying to run the game through them.
Yeah, and I feel like because of his experience and his ability to pass, that's probably why they were trying. They know we monster, but they thought they were advantageous in that area. And it's just like, coaches look up to it, and it's just like you got to live and die with your decision on how you think you can beat us. But I mean, shit, we can talk about Hunter Dickinson, but it's like their starting point guard. I'm looking at these statistics, and it's almost like he wasn't even on the floor.
No,
so
like their best player tonight was that little fella.
Yeah, I agree. But it's like
I like the way that little guy plays.
Yeah. But it's like I feel like a lot of times he might get a bunch of shit because they have to do things through him because of their inability to do shit through other people.
Yeah.
So it's just like I feel like he kind of gets a tough break in that regard.
And I just can't. It's amazing. It's amazing to me of how Kansas can recruit every year like they do. Man. And how they can fool so many people.
They get hidden gems.
Do what?
They get hidden gems.
Well, not even that. I mean, they get top line guys. They still get top line guys. But what I'm saying is that how they can get the talent that they get, how they can get that talent through the portal and transfer it in, and then how they can fool every person or every one of the media, it seems like, for 2 years in a row to make them the number 1 team in the preseason, and they come out and they are horrible.
Yeah.
Now they play well. They play well in out of conference. They'll win some big games out of conference. But the last 2 years,
State.
The last 2 years, have they won more than 5 games on the road in the last 2 years?
I think they've won 4 this year. Maybe it's 5. Maybe they're 5-5.
I mean, they just get dominated.
I mean,
They're 4-8 on the road.
that is just a testament to the conference, though, man. This shit is tough. Like,
Mhm.
it is tough. And I feel like a team that has as much tradition and has done as much winning as Kansas, I feel like we should, whenever we win games that are hard to win, granted, there's going to be, basketball is a game of mistakes. There's always going to be something that you can, look back on and be like, we could have did this better. But
Right.
you got to cherish the fact that we're able to pull these games out when 95% of teams in America would have lost this particular game. So it's, I think Kansas, their struggles, that's just indicative of how good this conference is and how hard it is to really win a game.
We are being told in our chat that one of the teams that swept Kansas was Oklahoma State.
That's wild.
Oh, wow.
I would
Did
have
not-
never guessed that.
No, you'd have had 12 teams to guess, and they would have not been in those 12.
That would have been the last.
They're saying Texas and Oklahoma State, which Baylor must have lost to them in the conference tournament or something, because
Does that count?
Baylor, I don't know, but Baylor went
I don't think so.
undefeated in the conference, so maybe they only played once. I don't know. And that would okay. That's probably where it comes from.
KJ Thomas. KJ Adams ain't he's an Austin kid.
Okay.
My bad. I'm just looking at this. My bad. My ADHD is taking over.
Grady Dick went to Toronto in the first round and wore this.
Son, it's the type of guys I want to coach against.
Yeah. What I just read was
That's Jamal's guy.
Wizard. It's a Wizard of Oz themed suit. I don't want my players showing up trying to look like Dorothy. That's just me.
I love how you named it.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to talk about that.
I just put one in. This is the front page of college basketball.
That's awesome.
And it's stuck on that freeze frame. Pull up ESPN on
That
the.
is too tough.
It's like that's kind of freaking beautiful.
I mean, he's slapping it. It looks like he's slapping his face and posterizing him. I mean, that's efficient.
Yeah, he knew.
He was after the game. He was getting there. I'm just so proud of that kid.
Yeah.
He's done so much, and just what he's become is just amazing. I did not realize that Oklahoma State.
As much as I'd love to see us build to March, and we're doing exactly what we expected. That we were talking about in November. As much as I love getting to March, I hate it because the end is coming.
Yeah.
And each team has its own unique personality, and they're as much as they are all the same, they're all still really different too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. March is bittersweet, man. Bittersweet.
Yeah.
Bittersweet as shit.
I thought senior night was for commemorating Ryan's age.
Old age.
Thank you, Starnes. We've missed you, Starnes. You Muppet-looking motherfucker. I just don't understand these people think that they can talk shit to me. Look at that Muppet.
Big storms.
Good night.
I think, hold on. It might be a little too late. I got a nickname for LJ. It took me a minute.
A little too late. You mean like in his career?
I mean, just from him being with us.
Okay.
Bag Work Boogie or LL Pool J. If you be pulling up, LL Pool J. LJ, I'm by myself. Let me kick me out, Ryan.
So You
I don't even
think
know
that-
what. I don't think Ryan even catches what they relate to.
Well, I get the LL Cool J thing, but I mean, you're the same guy that thought Emmanuel could dance.
One of
Not
us.
great for you.
But see, Galen's young, man.
Yeah, exactly.
He ain't that damn young. March
Shit.
27th is coming.
He's got them. He's got them Fortnite moves, that TikTok era dancing.
Trying to tell
You know what?
LL
what I think
Cool J,
about-
when I thought about that, I was like, this is it. This
But
is
see,
it.
You know what I
I
think
grew
about-
up with LL Cool J
Me too. When I think of how these kids dance,
doing the LL.
that's
Cool
what I
J
think
days.
about.
See,
That ain't
see,
a
that's a throwback to
That's just
the
ugly.
MC Hammer days. Vanilla Ice.
We don't even have the. We got it. Okay, there's the ladder. All right,
Third
we got
base.
the ladder back. I don't want to know.
Baby dick.
Does she know what kind of Jordans LJ switched to?
Didn't even peep, honestly.
Yeah. I don't understand the shoe thing. Like why everybody is so. They're just
Superstitious, man. You know.
Well, no, I don't think. No, people are just really into the Jordans, and it's so lost in me. Like I just don't understand. I'm
You
glad
don't,
y'all
you don't
do
know why people are into shoes that belong to arguably the greatest player to ever lace up a pair of shoes. Is that
Oh
what
well, it's definitely not arguable. I mean,
What, Converse weapons?
Towns? Next topic. The fuck are those?
You don't know what
Star
Converse
Pizza.
weapons were? That's what Magic and Bird wore back in the day.
Brother, I'm 27.
Well, you've seen it like on the History Channel, haven't you?
Best believe I wasn't looking at them worn out ass kicks. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is funny though. Converse what?
Weapons.
Weapons.
if you look them up, you'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen those. You'll understand. Kevin McHale wore them too. For some reason, I don't know why, but when I go to YouTube, my entire feed is Larry Bird shit. And then I click on it, and then it keeps, But
My
I watch so many damn Larry Bird videos now.
my shorts feed are all about people saying that Larry Bird was the biggest shit talker ever.
Oh, he was great.
Yeah, that's tough.
Tell you exactly what he's about to do, and then do it.
That's tough.
I watched something on him and Joe Dumars last night because I was with Don Chaney a couple days ago, and Chaney, I believe, drafted Dumars, and somehow it spoke it into the telephone, and now that's what I was getting. How about Quentin Grimes dropping 44 last night?
Steph got a lot of those buckets too. He gave a lot of those buckets to Steph Curry. That was pretty cool.
Houston is 33-4 in the Big 12. I think they've adjusted. Kansas is 20-17. That means they're 13 games back. That ain't great. 33-4, and you were 1-2. So you've gone 32-2. That's okay.
Galen.
That's okay.
Oh,
Bam.
Okay. I think you need to learn how to use the word bam,
Old timey.
because that was not it. Bam. Bam. No, that's bam. God bless that kid. I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss Jawan. I'm going to miss him.
another thing I wanted to talk about.
Go for it.
I don't know if I've ever seen someone miss as many dunks as JoJo. He missed one today, and it's just like he's missed several dunks this year. And
I
think
it happens more than ever.
For his athleticism and his arm span.
Could he be too long? They say the stats say he's U of H was 1 of 1 dunking the ball. So
I remember
I
him
just
one. I think it was in the first half. He had missed. It was like a two-hander. Tried to put it back, and it's just like I've seen him miss. Like he's missed a lot of dunks, more than he should have.
It seems like he just gets excited.
yeah, it's too fast for him.
Damn, pushing 30. Shit, I'm 20. Shit,
I guarantee you one thing though, man. Next year, with given another offseason, especially a full offseason with being able to play more with Milos, you're gonna see JoJo running the rim and ripping shit up on the lob.
Yeah. And it's like the game will slow down for him. So it's like, he's
All right, this is my favorite game in the world. Coaching hot seat. The carousel. Ryan, are your Louisiana sources saying anything where Will Wade will coach next season? If UT opens, if Kansas opens, I think there's a really good chance Bill Self's not there next year. I mean, he's made enough. But I mean, I'm never walking away from 11.
Retirement instead of getting fired.
Correct. They're not firing him.
Yeah.
How do you pay out a lifetime contract?
Yeah. No,
but I think he walks away because clearly he is not figured out NIL, and the people are beating on him. The stuff with the social media stuff a couple nights ago, they put out a weird statement 2 days ago. Yesterday.
That shit was weird as hell.
Yeah. Nobody does that.
I really think he should have just shut the fuck up and then come to the defense of his player.
That I agree with.
Because that was just insane. And you know what? I hate that the kid went through it, but I'm glad he put those people on blast.
Yes.
When people are doing that to players, I wish every player would post every bit of that on social media and just let everybody know this is what people are talking about.
What happened?
With Mayo?
There was some there was some bad
he was getting abused
stuff
on DMs on Instagram.
Yeah. Now, I don't
Like
think
some
you should be
vile
reading
shit.
that stuff, but yeah.
And he basically I thought he handled it with the most class you could possibly do. He basically said, "Look, we're human. I'm sorry," and then
I had a bad
he didn't
day.
say anything about the people, but he just posted what people were sending him in the DMs.
Some of the kill yourself, praying you fucking die. You're such a trash can, word I'm not going to say, that chokes so hard. Please get the fuck out of Lawrence and never come back. You shame Kansas basketball. If I catch you in Casey or Lawrence, I'm taking my belt off on you, you bum. Word I'm not going to say. I mean, I think you can talk about performance, and you can talk about performance all day. But that is I have lost my ability to function as an adult.
You know what I think social
shouldn't
media
be anywhere.
What I think social media should do is you need to like use in order to create a profile, you have to have an ID and you have to use your real name. That'll stop a lot.
Well, that's terrible.
Well, it still doesn't stop the insanity on Facebook. People who gladly put their entire life on Facebook, their name, their address. What people need is they just need to get the shit kicked out of them every now and then.
That too. But
I'm a fan of that.
Maybe Bill Self hasn't figured out NIL because he's probably been doing it.
Well, he's throwing a lot of money at guys, and it's not working.
Yeah.
But Towns has been on this all year.
A lot of money at guys.
Oh yeah, and I really think that Bill Self, his heart issue took pretty much everything out of him. I mean, you got to think when you're a coach that, I mean, he's part of the old school. He's kind of like Kelvin. He's going to jump in somebody's ass all the time. If you peel it back, if you have to pull it back a little bit, well, you lost the edge that made you better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Now you're just a regular dude.
There's a lot of reasons.
Now you're Fran Fraschilla.
Well, I don't know about that.
Hey, I like Fran. I love him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't think he has I don't think he has it in him to go be a coach again.
No.
Still knows the game great, but I mean, it's that edge that you have that other coaches don't have. And if you pull it back a little bit, you're a different person.
Chino guy.
Yeah. Wait, Patino, see, he's lost it and found it again and lost it and found it again.
See, I mean, it's like
He
Jay
got distracted.
Wright got out before he lost it. And he doesn't shut up on a broadcast. But same thing with Tony Bennett with UVA. He lost it, and he's like, I'm done.
Okay, back to the actual question. You're going to have Kansas, potentially, Texas, I'm pretty sure, Indiana, Florida State, Miami. So Chris Beard leaves Ole Miss. That's a good spot for Will Wade. A lot of people are saying he's going to Texas. I don't think that's remotely
Will
possible.
Wade to Miami.
I think they're getting Jay Lucas. Which,
What?
yeah,
Well, that was the rumor.
that's the rumor.
Wow.
That he's leaving Duke to go there. But a lot of guys are going to move up, and I've been thinking about this, but in the context of Quantus White, does Quantus White? I've been thinking he's going to Louisiana, but with all these jobs and with what they've done here, does he go up a couple of pegs? And there's some talk about OU coming open. If that happens, I don't know. Kellen, maybe. Quantus, maybe. Maybe they go another way. But there is a lot. And then if McCronin leaves UCLA, that's an old school big job. Not a big job today.
But to go where would Mick Cronin leave to go to?
Indiana. Ohio State, maybe, I think I've heard. But I'm not 100% on that.
This shit is interesting.
It's a
what's
Midwest.
What's funny about the OU job potentially opening is that OU had a really good run in the preseason when they played, I think, the 340th schedule. But during the preseason, it was how Porter Moser has finally got it all figured out, and it just took enough time, and then you go play real teams, and it all crumbles.
Yeah. I mean, they have.
I think you should fire him for having a stupid name.
Excuse me. He is 23-45 in conference play at OU. That is not,
and it's not going to
great.
get any better because the SEC is good.
And
Wow.
I don't
This
know.
is actually kind of blowing my mind.
Uh-oh.
What?
Why is it
Just
blowing
hearing
your mind?
The potential destinations for certain coaches is just like, wow, Jay Lucas to the fact that that's
Miami.
They're saying in chat that that's a done deal.
that is
It's possibly a done deal, but I mean, it's wild because he's a Houston guy. Went to Bel Air, I think.
you used it for sure.
Went to the other place down the road.
Hmm.
Well, he went to Florida first, right? He went to Florida and then Texas.
Texas.
But he's got terrible take. Self isn't going anywhere. Okay, you don't put out statements like that. First off, that statement, it was not him. That clearly somebody in the department pushed him to do that. And then it looks like it's eating him alive. And after that title 3 years ago and his heart issue, and he's making ridiculous money, the edge isn't there.
I don't
And
know about that.
I just, well, it's not. I mean, it's clearly not. Kansas does not go to Colorado and lose. They don't go and lose to whoever, Oklahoma State or whoever the hell they lost
Hey,
to.
sometimes, man, you just get Houston.
BYU, Utah, that weekend, that BYU Utah weekend, that does not happen. They lost at Baylor. They lost at Iowa State. They lost at West Virginia to start the year.
I just don't think that's something that you've had for decades, that it's lost after a season.
Well, it's not a season. It's a couple seasons.
A couple,
But it's an edge.
A couple compared to it's like people be like, oh, this is going to damage LeBron's legacy. He's had 21 years of dominance, great play. How could it doesn't? It's not equal to me, if that makes sense.
I'm just saying that maybe you're not at your best. I mean, he's in his 60s. You know, it's a 16 or 18 hour a day job during the season. And maybe he's just not geared for that. It doesn't make him a bad person or a bad coach. It just sometimes you lose that. You know. I don't know. Zeke Mayo should not have posted anything. I don't know. This is, I think there's no issue with what he posted. I think it's the right thing to do. Call these people out.
I don't know,
Make
man.
it
Some of the
so
KYS is one thing, but these guys were posting a lot worse than that.
way worse. Way worse. And
I mean, don't get me wrong, dude.
hard R.
I was in COD lobbies in going back to Modern Warfare 2. So I know
You're in what?
I know how bad shit can get.
Yeah.
What
But
did
even
you
that
say?
happens. Even that happens behind the screen. It's like, bro, you're in front of the world. That's a little bit you can't compare. Yeah, bro.
I mean, I played at A&M in the 90s when there was no such thing as anybody holding anything back. I got cussed out at McNeese State.
Base rowdies right there at McNeese.
Yeah, dude, they shredded me.
Yeah.
The
That's why
entire time I was warming up in the bullpen, they just I never knew what those words meant.
Yeah. We got those in Lake Charles. You assume Uzan returns. Yes.
Yeah.
I believe if he has a good tournament, he might go. I don't think the NBA is going to get lost in it only takes one team. But if you get lost in the hype of a tournament, you're going to be watching a lot more tournament than you thought because you ain't going to have a job. I think people like him, but I don't think he's to that point yet.
And
Well,
also, even if they did cross that threshold of, you could be an NBA player this year. It's like, well, what pick would I be? And it's like the security is not. It wouldn't be enough for him to consider truly leaving.
Well, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of NIL,
Yeah.
and especially with U of H's NIL growing, is that unless you just hate school, there's no reason at U of H for you to leave early for a second round grade.
Shit, I'd say even a projected late first. That's damn near. You're probably going to be a second round pick because the draft never goes as we predict it will. So, yeah, but I do like this era of the players being empowered, man. It's
Yes.
I like that. I like that.
There
I
was-
used to
for
be
too long-
harshly against it, but that changed real quick.
Players go through it's a lot of shit, man. It is.
Well,
a lot.
and everything changed. Everything changed for me when it just turned into coaching carousel every single year, and not just the head coaches, but the assistant coaches. I mean, the guys, because those are the guys. Those are the guys you're dealing with. I mean, and not only that, so you've got the churn there, But while they were doing that, players were getting pushed out the door. Now, you couldn't technically cut them, and you couldn't remove their scholarship. They can still go to school, but they can tell you, you're going to get your school paid for, but you ain't playing here.
Well, and even before that, you could basically push them out and not pay for their school.
Sure.
And then that changed probably 14 years ago or so.
Yeah.
But I am pro that players getting everything they can. Gamblers being viruses, 100%. I am a gambler at heart. I don't do it on sports anymore because of this. But I really do think it's made this society worse. It's too big a focus now. It used to be kind of a minor thing.
Yeah.
It's just not anymore. It's
like a priority almost.
And a part of that is, people get their content from like Barstool and ESPN. They're both pushing bet nonstop, and the daily fantasy stuff. I just think it's too much now. And that grosses me out. Go ahead.
Did I read that ESPN Bet might be folding in the next year or so?
A year or two. They're,
Good.
the number of ESPN Plus users or that have created an account with ESPN, it's something like 0.1 or 0.01% have created an ESPN Bets account, which is not great.
Y'all know what I take great pride in?
What's up?
I'm probably one of the few athletes in the world that probably hasn't ever submitted a parlay or a bet of any sort.
That's another problem is athletes gambling.
Yes.
They got the money.
Well, that's the and one of these bad things about NIL is that a lot of these guys are in states where there is gambling and you can gamble on your phone. And so they're doing that. Well, the casinos are working with, because they want it to be all in the up and up. So they work with the NCAA, they work with pro leagues, and it's just bad news. And I don't
think the athletes are the ones that are sending people hate messages.
No. But that can corrupt the game, and you don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I want them to be empowered. I want them to make their money, but I also want them to be
smart about it,
not dumbasses about it. But that's a big temptation. Kind of like Josh Pastner. It is. Josh Pastner had his run. Speaking of dumbasses, Josh Pastner had his run at Memphis, then Georgia Tech. Don't see him coaching again.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get to that number. And Josh was a hungry guy. Even when he was young, he was, we're basically the same age. And when he was at Kingwood, he just was Chihuahua. And went to Arizona.
He climbed up quick.
Well, maybe too quick.
Well, and the thing is,
that's one thing I want to say. We can talk about that too.
What's that?
Like climbing up too quick, like Kellen or Quanis being. I don't want them to skip steps because I want them to be successable.
Well, but they're also in their 40s.
I wouldn't
they've
even
been doing this for a while.
I wouldn't even say it's too quick. I think it comes down to he took the Memphis job because he was next in line. So you can't turn that down.
No.
But that Memphis job for his first job, especially at that point. Job. You're coming off of
national title game, right?
Yeah. And you're coming out. What was Derrick Rose was there.
You go from Derrick Rose to Josh Pastner.
Well, you got some of the best players ever.
Yeah.
And they were good, but the thing is that, and it's no different. It's no different than like when Pat Foster replaced Guy V here. You can be good. You can win 25 games. You can go to the tournament. But if you ain't going deep, if you ain't getting back to the Final Four, or at least getting to the Elite Eight, you're done.
The guy before you, whatever he did, you have to do or more.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why you don't want to ever follow a legend. But
When just Memphis is a tough job. It's not.
It
I'll
is.
say Memphis can be a good job for the right person, but it's very, very difficult because the expectations are so high and the demands are so high. And I think that's whenever you're looking at Quantas in his next step, or any of our assistants, it's them not getting a good job; it's getting the right job.
Right job.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
where are they going to support? I think I saw somebody asking about McCaslin. If I was McCaslin, I'd be sitting at Texas Tech and just cashing checks because that NIL is going to be unreal.
I would make a list of 3 teams, 4 teams where you would go. Like, if you hit that one, okay, I'm going. But you're not going to Texas.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in his scenario, I think the job that would interest me is Baylor when Drew steps down, just because of my history there. But at Texas Tech, you can win big there. They've already proven that you can make it to a Final Four. And now that they have such a strong NIL program, you'd be crazy to leave it, I believe. Same thing. I don't know about Iowa State's NIL program, but I think TJ can build. Like if you're talking about, you hear about Indiana, other schools like that. He can be better at Iowa State.
Yeah.
Because at that point it's your program.
Yeah.
You're not chasing ghosts of you're not chasing the ghost of Bobby Knight.
Yeah.
At big schools like that.
That's why I think, like, if the McNeese State job opened, I feel like that would be a good starting point for you because it's, in a sense, it's kind of comfortable. Like, you're a Louisiana guy, you got Louisiana roots, you relate to who you're going to be recruiting, and I feel like that is a great opportunity for him to build on and a great place for him to excel.
Well, Louisiana is open, and that's a bigger job.
I mean, I'm just saying, like him.
Louisiana Monroe is open, and that's a bigger job.
Yeah, but I think that's
but he needs somewhere to grow, and Kellen would need the same thing. The thing I worry about with Kellen is people are going to expect, okay, he's going to do the exact same thing his dad did. Well, maybe not quite as fast, and then sometimes sons get in bad situations. Pat Knight was not a great coach, but got in a bad situation at Tech. And then they ran off some terrible hires. Somebody I really liked, Billy Gillespie, was one of them. Poor Billy, he had a bad run there. Kellen ain't going to OU. That's a hard job, Ryan. Yeah, but there is a lot of history there. Kellen grew up. I mean, he was an elementary kid. He went all the way through college there. That's a draw. I think all things being equal, this is probably a better situation. But
the one thing
that he would just immediately say no to, I mean,
I'm sure
you're an assistant, and then they put that in your face.
I would use that for
leverage to push your dad out.
That more money is spent into the program, but
yeah,
the thing that makes me think that there's not a chance is how much they've talked about not only how special it is to have a program all your own, but the fact that your entire family is involved in every aspect.
How you know your shit? That is exactly what I was about to say. Wow. Wow. Brad Towns for fucking governor. God damn it. Shout out to
that's something you can't get anywhere. And it
still need all those wheelchair ramps.
Kids here now, man. You man, that is yeah.
And this is but you're also this is something you built a national power.
Yeah.
I mean, Kellen has built it just as much as Kelvin. They all have all of those, that entire staff has ownership of this program, and they're all vital key pieces of what it's become. And so they feel an ownership of it. and I don't see any job. I mean, if it was going to happen, I think it would have happened about 4 or 5 years ago.
I feel like Kellen.
I don't know about that.
Walked away if this was like the Southland or something. Like if it was, but it's like you're in a big. This is.
Well, he also got.
It don't get no better than this.
He got it in the contract. Like it was agreed to, but it wasn't in the contract, and now it's set. But one of the good things for them is, even with how media friendly they are, you're doing this basically anonymously. Like you don't get the harsh criticism like Texas and Kansas, Indiana, North Carolina. I mean, you just don't have that kind of pressure from the outside. Like I was kind of drunk last night, and I was scrolling on YouTube and looking at the Field of 68, and it was like they rarely talk about Houston. And I went and looked at all their podcasts, and they've got it for all the big schools except this one. And ESPN does. I mean, they cover the games, but after the game's over, they're out. We don't see national reporters here. We don't see those guys.
Yeah.
You're able to do this on your own terms, whereas you're not able to do that at a North Carolina or Texas or
When you don't
Kansas.
you don't have a few dozen wealthy donors up your ass
Pushing,
telling you
yeah.
what you need to do and telling you need to go sign this kid because he's got X amount of stars
Right.
or because he's related to so and so and so and so.
And
And
Kelvin-
even if somebody did tell Kelvin that, I mean, I
Oh,
think
that would be
I think
so
we know
much
what
fun.
the answer would be.
yeah, he had the gravitas when he took this job to say, "Shut up," but now he's not even letting you finish that thought. Franz Rochilla said Tugler should come. Yeah, yeah. He's
a projected second rounder.
Well, it doesn't matter
I mean,
because
but I'm just
the
saying
money
this-
is better here. I mean,
But what I'm
any
saying, is, like,
moron
when you look
can
at
do.
we're going off perception, and it's just like the fact that he's thought of that highly. This
But-
raw is.
I don't know who's the thing is who's rating
Who's the person doing that?
who's
'cause
saying
there's
he's a
how many-
second rounder.
How many mock drafts are there? 1,000? I mean, you go look at bracketology, and there's like 1,000 people or 1,000 different ones. Okay, I mean everybody's got an opinion. That's great.
I mean, if I'm
We
an,
do
if
a
I-
good
if
job.
if I'm an NBA guy and I say, hey, I can get him as a undrafted free agent, or I can get him at the bottom of the second round. I don't have to guarantee anything. Oh yeah, I'll take that flyer all day long.
Yeah.
But
Shout out to
I mean, let's be real. He's got a long way to go.
long way to go. But that ceiling.
But when he gets there,
yeah,
because I mean, right now he's until he develops an offensive game and plays more under control, he's trending on a Ben Wallace path. That's what you see him turning
A
into.
lot of money with Ben Wallace.
yeah, that's shit. That's Hall of Fame. But it's like,
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. That's the direction he's going. But what he can be is different than that.
yeah. But also, I think like, with a guy like that who has motor, athleticism, mobility, he doesn't have to score a bunch to impact the game because he's a lob threat. He could, he could guard guys who are smaller, bigger than he is. So it's just like with a guy like that, it depends on the situation that he, let's say, hypothetically speaking, if he was to get drafted this year, it would depend on the situation that he walked into. Like if he was playing I think Luka had Derek Lively looking like somebody that he shouldn't have been looking like that. So like if you go into a situation you're dealing with a guy when you got a guy who's able to make you better and make you look good,
Right.
he can look like we all think that what he can be here, if that makes sense.
Well, like you saw, like tonight, you see him, when he lets the game kind of slow down a little bit. He's got that nice little jump hook that he threw up there. It's like,
Yeah, I seen
that's
that.
that's his moneymaker next year. I mean,
Can we stop for a minute 30 seconds? You just beat Kansas in basketball, and we've spent about 13 seconds talking about that game and an hour and a half talking about JoJo going to the NBA and who's going to take the Kansas job.
We talked for 45 minutes about
Now,
it.
I'm just saying, it's kind of funny that
Just
it's just such a well, it's just okay, no big deal, just another win. Okay,
at this point,
No, that's facts though. That's
on to USF. All right. I mean, it's just funny that we talk about people's expectations, and then ours kind of all right. You beat Kansas, no big deal. All right.
Coach Sampson, he said it in a post-game presser. We haven't won a game that we didn't expect to win. Straight like that.
A power forward job for Qantas. That's a lot of pressure. 100% agree.
What's the power for?
Well, it's not really power four. It's power five because it's the Big Ten, the SEC, the Big 12, the ACC, and the Big East. And you have to put the Big East in there as the fifth. In football, it's power four because the Pac-12 went away. But in basketball, it's the Big East is definitely in that conversation. But I agree with the sentiment that that's a really hard thing to do. And it's probably best to go get your training wheels as a head coach.
Yeah, for sure.
Because all the things you have to do, the staffing, and I mean, we're talking down to, all the people, the operations people and assistant coaches, do you have those people lined up? Where are you going to recruit? You've only been looking at 5 stars for the last few years. Where are you going to go find people for these secondary jobs,
Well, I think he knows exactly where they are.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's seen them. He just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. It's kind of like for Coach Sampson, his coaching staff. All the guys played for him. They know it.
Right.
They know what he's looking for. And if you're building a staff from scratch, they might not have a full understanding of, the program you want to cultivate. So it's like, it could take. I get what you mean.
Yeah, and I'm going to say it. And this isn't maybe what people want to hear, but if Qantas takes a job, there's a very good chance he takes Ryan Elvin with him. There's a good chance he takes Jonathan Roito, who was a student manager and now a grad assistant. Both of those guys have their focus, and Laredo's really good at what he does from an operational standpoint, recruiting standpoint. Ryan is really good working with shooters. I sat and watched Ryan and Jawan talk at Cincinnati halftime. They came back out. Jawan doesn't really shoot most of the time after the half, to warm up because he wants to stay fresh. And Ryan went over and on the floor while the others were shooting, just talked to him, strategized, and was pointing things out. He's coaching him up. He's not taking a back seat. And Ryan and Jawan are best of friends. But he's still stepping up and has been he's not been passive. Like I thought he might be passive because he was teammates with a lot of these guys, but he hasn't been.
And it's like I feel like also is all the team that Ryan was a walk on. All our guys respect him, so 100%. That's naturally going to carry over whenever you ascend in whatever position. But I feel like a coach, especially a young coach, the greatest strength you can have is relatability, because guys are going to be more willing to open up to you and tell you certain things that they might not tell somebody who might be 50. And I think that he was one of our coaches, and personally my mentor, Mikhail McLean. That was his greatest strength, is he was just able to relate to us, and that's why he was able to get us to kind of go above and beyond. And that's why he's kind of rising in the coaching ranks the way that he is, because he has a gift of being able to relate.
He was a grad assistant and then in operations here. And then he went to Lamar with Alvin and goes from Lamar as an assistant, a second or third assistant, to Kentucky, which is I believe he's making over $500,000 a year.
Oh yeah,
that's a little better than Beaumont.
He more than quadrupled his salary. His life changed. It went from
a WIC card
one
to
level,
a gold card.
1 level to 10 levels higher.
Okay.
It's like that in that kind of role, like Kentucky, you're starting to fill up the bank account a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. I'm curious to see what Sampson does with 4 5-star freshmen. He's going to be. We're going to try to get in June because I want to watch. I want to see what they're doing. I want to see what it looks like, and we're going to use Galen. Just straight up, we're going to use Galen to get in.
I do think that one thing that's going to help these freshmen is the fact that his maturity, that's going to be how he's grown in our program is going to be key to their growth.
Yep.
And especially him being at the point guard position, and then you got a guy like Kingston that's going to be following in his footsteps. I don't want to even talk about next year, but I'm very optimistic about it. Yeah, I want to.
Yeah. Not only
we have
that,
a team that can win the national title. Like, it wouldn't even be a surprise to us. Granted, we'd be excited and shocked, but it's just like, well, shit. We wouldn't be surprised if that makes sense.
And I think the one thing, with Los kind of teaching these guys the ropes, or especially Kingston, is that they saw him do the exact same thing. It's not like when Jamal was here, they didn't see him his freshman year. They didn't see him when he was getting just absolutely shredded on the bench. But they saw they were all either committed or visiting, watching how Milos gets integrated and grows and develops into what he is.
Let alone in a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jamal's first year here, he wrote about this on our site for us. He was lost when he got here. It was the weirdest thing, because when he told me this, I just was so surprised that he would admit it. It was like I cried almost every day. Like, it was that hard for him. And he's so, this was a year and a half ago. He was so mature to deal with it. And by the time that freshman year ended, Kelvin and Kellen and others have credited him the defense that he played in the bubble got them ready for the teams that they had to go beat. And him on the white team, the backups, was a huge deal for that team getting to where they wanted to. And I don't think I've ever talked to Deaky about this, but we should ask him. Like, what was Jamal like from your point of view? So, anyways.
Just trying to do whatever you can to stick.
I remember when Ray McCallum was head coach last I heard he's assistant Tulane. He is an assistant Tulane for Ron Hunter. Is it?
Is he still there?
I think so.
Okay.
There are some jobs where you just never get fired. Tulane, Memphis,
if you can finish above 500 at Tulane, you're probably
going to do
set
well.
for life.
Hey, when we were kids, they didn't have air conditioning in that arena.
Wow. Set for life sounds you wild as hell.
Hey, you get paid $2 million a year to coach Tulane. You're there 8 years. You're pretty much set for life. I didn't realize it's after midnight.
Money.
Yeah.
See, sometimes the trick is just to do enough to not get fired.
I have never achieved that, but it sounds nice. We really had homeboy right there on our screen. Grady Dick.
Not homeboy.
Grady Dick.
Like a fucking figure skater.
That's what that's what he looks like. There should be like a little swan
That or
coming
some
out.
kind of Dancing with the Stars bullshit.
Oh, definitely like a figure skater.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap this up and go home because it's 12:10, and
I gotta get up early.
That's good.
But anyway,
Galen.
Hey man, I love ugly wins in March because it means you survive. On to the next one. Survival of the fittest, man. It's a marathon.
That was the fastest final thoughts we've ever had.
I agree. And, playing the
Okay, Brad agreed. All right. That was pretty easy.
Saturday, Monday turnaround, that's your tournament prep right there. And, just like Kelvin said, you got to win ugly in the tournament. It's just the way it is. We did what other teams have in this conference have proven that they are not capable of doing, and that's winning ugly.
You've done this turnaround 2 weeks in a row in 3 of the last 4. I mean, that's prep. That's
brutal, bro.
getting you where you need to be. And you just did it against Iowa State and Texas Tech and Kansas. So 4 of your 5 or 6 best teams in this conference, you played in those last 4 games. I'm looking at the standings. You're 18-1. Tech is 13-5. Arizona's 13-5. You have a 4.5 game lead with 1 to play. Well, 1 for U of H. That is wild. 26-4. Kansas is sitting there with 19 wins. Arizona's sitting there with 19 wins. You're at 26. That is stout. I don't have anything to say about this. You just won the
I like the
18th
fact
game.
I like the fact that there's a strong possibility that we could have as many wins as Kansas
In
total.
conference, yeah.
Yeah, you could
We could have 19
Saturday
wins
night.
in conference, and they could have 19 overall.
Boy, that's wild. And I think they get, is it Iowa State? I don't know, they get Arizona.
Yeah.
Saturday.
I think Arizona's playing.
One
there,
of
though,
them,
right?
it's at Kansas. So one of
But
them
I mean, they hadn't been
will
tough this year.
finish the regular season with 19 wins. So if U of H can win at Baylor, you're gonna match either Arizona or Kansas in the regular season for your conference schedule and their total. Yeah, that's
That's wild.
So if you just cut U of H off, I was thinking about this when I was drunk last night too. If you just cut U of H off the top and throw them out, the conference winner is a 5-loss team. But U of H did the completely impossible and has run through this 18-1, worst case 18-2. If you're 18-2, you at least win the conference by 3 games. That's nuts.
What did I say? Did I say three losses?
No, you didn't. You said like 12.
Yeah, no, that's not.
No, I think you said
I can't
4 or
count that
5. You said 4 or 5 losses. I said 5.
I have to remember what show we did that. I have to go back and watch it.
Right.
It would be the preseason. It would have been in middle of December. But I think that I'm wrong, but it took an incredible effort by this program to never lose sight of what they're doing. And it's just remarkable what they've done.
Well,
And you'd also be undefeated on the road if you beat Baylor. You'd be 10-0 on the road.
it would.
That is nuts.
Yeah, it's this. We expect a lot from our program, and they don't surprise us that often. But then again, they do surprise us because
Facts.
they keep upping the bar. I mean, they keep achieving more and more. And, when you look back on it, it's like, well, yeah, of course. But beforehand, I mean, as much as we talk shit now about people thinking that, we were going to struggle coming into the Big 12, we all thought we would struggle coming into the Big 12. I mean, I remember having conversations 3 years ago, right when we got announced being in it. We thought that, there's going to be some years where we might not win 20 games, and that would be considered a good year. But these guys have done the unthinkable. You didn't think nobody thought in their right mind, other than maybe the coaching staff, that you'd be 18-1 in this conference.
They had doubts too.
15-3.
That's crazy.
I don't know. It's pretty
Just-
wild. Ryan, your
Yeah.
videos of the 200,000 views. This is just on mine. John Rothstein has almost 300,000. The NCAA who retweeted it, 60,000. And then there's 110 other retweets. We do pretty well social media wise. We do okay. But this is a little bit uncharted territory. 153 people have bookmarked it, which
Unique.
I didn't realize people really did that, but I guess they do.
This
It
is
was a
kind of
cool
your viral moment.
Yeah. I thought I had to have hepatitis for that, but this works too. Yeah, there we go. Sorry you had to hear that, Mom. She'll be watching the replay, I'm guessing. Thank y'all so much for watching. We're gonna probably do content some point this week, but I'm not killing myself.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
You earned your leisure.
It's a long season ahead. And we'll be back Saturday in Waco for a late game. Galen, Brad, onesubstantial.com. 9 o'clock game, so you're thinking maybe a 9:10 start. One Substantial, Galen Jr., Brad Towns, attractive as always. That's Big J journalism right there, Ryan. Vital videos, or viral.
The Brad.
There we go, viral. The Brad. that goofy motherfucker. But he's an integral part of everything we do. And I just want to say something right now about Brad.
The Brad.
Not the Brad.
And that's why we're letting him go.
Look at that satin line. Look at that satin lining, man. That's some elite shit right there. I mean,
Right.
I could show mine.
It's nice, man. It feels good.
This is what we do, man. Protect yourself at all times.
That's right.
I'm gonna
You
show
gotta
mine
protect
too.
your neck, man.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. So that's the show for us for this Monday night. Doesn't feel like Monday. Thank y'all so much for watching, for being here with us. We appreciate it. We'll do some things later in the week, and then that'll be it. We're gonna end it watching Jawan one more time, one more year. Worst dancing I've ever fucking seen. That's so pathetic. That's so bad. Thank you.